No, I was gonna say actually, I was like, what about basketball?
Yes, we have kids that play football and they go and they play basketball. Some go play
I
baseball
saw
and then they come
baseball on
back.
the site
They
too. I
come
saw, I
back.
saw,
You know, you just play the whole year. Now, luckily for me as a parent, my son only wanted to play football. Now, my daughter played. She wouldn't. I wouldn't let her play tackle ball. She wanted to. I wouldn't let her
hmm
do it. So what did she do? She went to college and played Division II rugby. Right. She was going to get
Yeah,
in her sport. So she cheered. She played volleyball and she played rugby.
that's what I was gonna say. Concussion is high in
Oh, it
rugby,
is
right?
higher in rugby. There's no
Like no
protection. One of the
protection, right?
things that's so fabulous about
The-
football is if you're properly suited and equipped,
hmm
it's one of the safer contact sports out there.
Yes.
It truly is. It truly is because you've got padding, and if your
hmm
coach is properly trained and your coach is training you properly, then it's one of the safer sports out.
Rugby is scary.
It is.
You
Every
watched the game.
game. I still have them on video. I go back and look at them. I'm like, what? Oh,
Was she
wow.
rough? She
My
was. She
daughter's
was.
rough. My daughter had to have back surgery in college. My daughter's rough. Beautiful and rough.
What do you feel before we get to the break? We're going to take a quick break because I want to transition into this topic of youth at risk in a moment.
Okay.
But what do you feel about women in football, and maybe if I could ask, women in boxing? What do you feel about that?
Listen,
I don't want to get you in
UFC?
trouble.
I
Now.
don't. You can get me in trouble. So, I'm a feminist at heart. I have a
hmm
young daughter who is 26 years old. There is nothing that she can't do. The reason I didn't let her play youth sports is because I was afraid. I'm like, honey, when you hit someone and they find out you're a girl, the whole team's coming after you.
Yeah.
But I'll have to say I was so wrong because we have every season now, there's about 5 or 6 young women who play
Who
tackle
suit up?
sports
They suit up
and go out
Yeah.
there and juke and run and
Yeah.
hit, and it's all good. So
Good for them.
maybe if I had to do all over again, I would let her play. But I
Mhm.
think that women can play any sport that they choose to play.
Mhm.
I would be an advocate for that. And if boxing and playing football, rugby, basketball, baseball, the sky's the limit.
MMA.
The sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
There's no
Yeah.
reason that if that's what she
Yeah.
wants to do, who am I to tell her any different?
Yeah.
I have a bit of
WWE where they fake it.
I have a bit of difficulty with all of that. I gotta keep it frank with you. I think certain sports, because of their brutality, um, there should be some limits.
Okay.
But that's just me, and I'm an old guy. I'm the oldest guy in the room. What the hey? So forget about what I say.
Got you.
We're here with a special presentation tonight of the Change Factory. Our motto is "We Make Change," and we've got a gentleman who is not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. We've got our good friend Theodore Cooper of the PCC Youth Football and Cheer Organization. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be continuing our discussion with Theodore and our producer and my co-host tonight, Terry Bowes, and we're going to delve into this topic of youth at risk. Be sure to stay tuned. We've got some great messages from our sponsors. We'll be right back. The Change Factory with yours truly, Richard Carr.
So much pain and misery. Little ghetto boy, your daddy was blown away. He robbed that grocery store. Don't you know that was a sad, sad old day? All of your young life you've seen such a misery and pain. Well, it's a cruel place to live, and it ain't gonna change. You're so young, you got so far to go. Don't think you'll reach your goal, young man.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Melody's Bar and Grill is now serving breakfast Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till noon and 8 a.m. on the weekends, featuring Denver omelets, banana pancakes, egg bowls, biscuit and egg sandwiches, and a $2 kids menu with cartoons and movies for the kids to watch, as well as special drinks for their parents and much, much more. Conveniently located at 9132 South Sepulveda Boulevard, just outside LAX and the In-N-Out Burgers. Dine in or take out and give us a call at 310-670-1994. 310-670-1994. Come join us for breakfast at Melody's Bar and Grill and get a free egg and cheese biscuit with coffee if you mention LA Talk Live.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Missy K.
And your girl, Haley B, inviting you to join us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. PST.
Check out the Missy K's Loose Lip Show with my co-hosts, Lady D's and Lala Young, for some sexy topics like sex, dating, celebrity gossip, and sports.
So don't forget to tune into MSCK's Loose Lip Show Thursday nights at 8 p.m. PST.
Exclusively on latalklive.com and the America Talk Live Broadcast Network.
You can also catch us on Ustream and on demand anytime on our America Talk Live channel, YouTube channel, MSCK's Loose Lip Show.
Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to tonight's special presentation here on LA Talk Live, a special episode of The Change Factory, where we make change. All about spotlighting change makers right there at the tip of the spear in our community throughout America and right here in Los Angeles. We've got with us tonight Mr. Theodore Cooper of the PCC Youth Football and Cheer Organization. Let's give out the website right now. Let's get that out there.
That would be www.pccfootballcheer.com.
One more time.
www.pccfootballcheer.com.
All right. Go to the website. They've got phone numbers, email addresses, any way that you want to get in contact with them, you can do it right there. And as you should see, we have their logo up on the screen right now. All right. So, coming back from the break, and in fact, going to the break, one of my favorite artists and one of my favorite songs from the 70s, in fact, this one was, in case you all don't know, a little Donny Hathaway in the background, a song called Little Ghetto Boy, a tragic tale about youth at risk in the inner city. And again, this dates back to the 70s. So just imagine, here we are talking probably about 40 years later from when that song came out, where we still have this problem. And in fact, it seems to have intensified. Shout out to Chicago, the city they call Chirac. I think I'm going to stop saying that.
The dream is still alive.
Yeah.
The dream is still alive. Man.
Good.
The dream is not dead.
And I'm no longer going to refer to Chicago as Chirac. We need to get that out of our young people's minds. I come from Philadelphia. Our young people have adapted a new slang for it. They call it Philadelphia, Pistolvania. Baltimore is Bodymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chirac.
It's just gotten ridiculous. Our young people have really, hey, young people, you've lost your damn way. I'm going to say it. We were youth at risk as well. And even people my age, in fact, my father's age, who left home at 13, you want to talk about a youth at risk. Here's a kid who never committed a crime and had no intentions to, who had to leave home at 13, which would be probably about 1925 in that range from the time he was born, and walk and hitchhike and catch rail cars to get from the Jim Crow, the racism of Jim Crow, Monroe, Louisiana, to the north in Baltimore and Philadelphia. You're talking about a youth at risk. Here's a kid walking along the road in his teens, roads and passageways that were beset by the Ku Klux Klan and all kind of, racist sentiments. These young people made it through. This is the one thing, and this is my point I really am trying to get across. And pardon my rant, but these young people have to understand that it's never been easy for us, ever in this country, as black people or as brown people. But I want to address my people, and that's young black men and women. It's never been easy. It wasn't easy for me coming up. It wasn't easy for my parents coming up. And keep in mind, we are the progeny of a slave generation. For 400 years, our foreparents were enslaved. So to think that it's harder for you now to do the right thing than it was for our foreparents, that's a complete misconception. To think that there are fewer opportunities, I just don't see it.
That
I
could be the
totally
age of
disagree.
entitlement. Age of entitlement.
And I don't want to put that on them because I'm not trying to diss our young people and make them feel that they're not understood. Because I get it, man.
It's all
We
about
were
how
there
you raise,
too.
though. It's all about how you raise.
Well, it goes beyond how you raise as well, and to me, there's a lot of personal responsibility our young people have got to begin to adapt and adopt to and take hold of. You've got to be responsible for yourself more now than I think ever, because people expect more of you. You should be smarter. You should be doing better. You should be fulfilling the dreams of your parents and foreparents for prosperity and success. So young people, I get where you're at. I understand your pain, but understand we've all gone through this. And because of people like Theodore Cooper, who are out here working with young people, giving you a sense of direction, purpose, rooted in athletics, which I think is one of the best, because I boxed as a kid. I played football as a kid. It taught me a lot about self-discipline. So these folks are out here waiting for you, wanting to help you. So you got to take some sense of personal responsibility in your own future and outcome. So it's never been easy for us. There's always going to be challenges.
Let me,
Please, by all means.
I want to ask Theodore, do you have kids that participate in the program without the parents being there? Is that possible?
Not only is it possible, and not only is it probable, it is an absolute certainty. And I explain to these young coaches and these older coaches all the time, and I'm going to tell a story in just a minute, but you may be the only man or woman of positive influence in a child's life on this team today. And so we have a lot of children who are without parents, and they come and they play football. Our cities sponsor quite a lot of teams. Now, our Linwood program is almost fully sponsored. Thank God the city of Linwood.
By the local community. And the city.
Yes, the city of
Very
Linwood helps fund that program.
Let's give them a rousing round of
yes,
applause.
let's do
Lawyers
that.
on the board, a lot of lawyers. I think I saw their list of sponsors.
Yeah, there are three gentlemen in the Linwood program, particularly, who are just dedicated to that program. And if you look at all the other programs, there are 1 to maybe 4 people on every program who are just dedicated and have been there for years. And by the way, none of us
really
receive
care
a
about
salary.
you. Yeah.
Yes, none of us. I don't receive a salary. The best I get is
Do
I
you
get
want
to.
one?
No, I'm good. The best we get is I take my staff to dinner because they give, like my deputy commissioners, none of them get paid. None of them. And none of them have kids in the program any longer. We're here because we love it.
This is a passion.
Yes.
Yeah,
we
the
love
payment's
being out
implicit in
there.
the
It is,
process.
it
It
is.
really is. It's a part of the process.
And so here's a story. Now, this comes by way of Mr. Keith Johnson in the LA Falcons program. Now, he's a community-based organization, a CBO, and they do a lot of good work out in that program. They mentor children. They do homework after school programs. He feeds them. And at one point, the LA Watts Bears were in his umbrella.
Okay.
And that is a program that is run by the Housing Authority, Hagler, and they have the LA police officers who go out and do the coaching. And
Wow,
so on
great.
one afternoon, he tells the story of a young kid. They fed them, they were doing homework, and one of the police officers happened to walk back into the room, and the kid was in there taking food. And the officer says, "What are you doing?" "Well, I don't understand why you're taking food. If you're hungry, we'll feed you. What's the problem?" And the kid wouldn't talk. And after whatever those minutes were, the officer's prodding, the kid finally said, "Well, tonight's not my night to eat." He says, "What do you mean it's not my night to eat?" He says, "I have X amount of brothers and sisters, and we don't all eat every night. And so I was taking extra food so when I got home, I could eat."
Amazing.
So
Good
we
Lord.
have a lot of children who need us, and we're here for them. And that's not the only instance that I can explain. We have a lot of coaches that go out of their way, spend their own money to buy equipment for the young children to play the sport. And like my staff, my deputy commissioners, they're constantly on the go. I mean, constantly on the go. It's a year-round program for us, even though the season is
Organizing fundraisers.
Yes, we
everything
do it
you
all.
do
We do it all.
Yeah.
So a big shout out to those that help us out. I appreciate everyone.
And you have that. Is on the website some for volunteers too to sign up, or they have to? Do you have to? I
No.
mean, like to not be to not have a child in the program.
If you don't have a child and you'd like to participate, I'm looking at the website right now. There should be a way to get a hold of us, because this is a new website for us. Yes, it is. There's an email address there, PCCFB_cheer. You can hit us up or an email us straight from the website. We'd love to have anyone who would like to volunteer. We will find a place for you and something to do. We could use as many volunteers as possible.
Good.
You know, I want to go back to youth at risk, something that you said.
I really want to make sure we give that a little bit of a focus, because there are parents out there who are in the situation where they may have a youth at risk who can be helped by your program. But please continue.
So what we do is we have parents within our program who can't afford to pay. So we have ways to do hours instead of money. You know, we'll divide that money up into what we call units, and you just come and volunteer. You know, I mean, you've got to give up something, $20. I mean, you've got a brand new phone, but your kid can't play football. There's a problem, right? So if you can come up with something, $10, $20, we do a raffle every year. You can sell us enough raffle tickets to cover your entire sponsorship if you want to.
And how about crowdfunding? Have you?
We haven't broached
ventured into that,
crowdfunding
really?
yet, but we are
Oh my
looking
God.
into. We have applied for grants,
Mhm.
but we are definitely going to look at the crowdfunding avenue in any way that we can get young men and women to get off the couch and get onto the football field, particularly those that are at risk, because we want to help.
Well, not just off the couch and on the football field and into youth sports and cheer, not just football, but cheer.
Right.
But, you know, all these kids got phones.
Yes.
And once you do a crowdfund, it really is all about the social network component of it.
That's right.
It's not like you just throw it out there like a dart and hope that it hits a target. No, you bring the target to you.
Right.
And when you consider that you're working with so many young people, how many young people are you working with in this program?
This season or last season, we had in the neighborhood of 2,500.
Good Lord. So 2,500 young people.
At one point, we had over 7,500.
Wow. So let's go back to 2,500 times 10 fingers. I think that's
It's a lot.
25,000. Somebody do the math for me. All them little fingers pecking away. Just those 25,000 kids or 2,500 kids pecking away on their social network saying, hey, go support us on our crowdfund.
Right.
And then the proud parents and relatives who say, hey, okay, I'm on Facebook too, Junior. I'll go ahead and share that with my circle of influence. Man, it could be exponential
It could.
in terms of
We're
support.
working on
Yeah.
that, yes.
Anything we can do to help you. I've got some insight.
Appreciate that.
You let us know. And
Certainly
we
will.
can perhaps get you started with because I think crowdfunding, especially for young people, and we talk about things like GoFundMe.
Yes.
Indiegogo is more for arts and
Correct.
stuff like that. You know, Kickstarter, if you don't hit your
Inventions,
goal,
right.
they keep it all.
Right.
Or give it all back, really. They don't keep it all. They give it all back. But GoFundMe, there's no goal. There's virtually no term
Right.
that you can run that crowdfund. And I love crowdfunding for young people because they can go home or be on the bus and you can give them
Talk
like
about
a
it.
crowdfund challenge and say, hey, we want you to raise this much money through your circle of influence. And that it ties into that social network and it helps give them a
mean, a
part of the
sense of
process
community?
and meet them where they are, which is on their social network.
Right,
And
right.
wow, that could be really fun. Maybe
Yeah,
we should
we'll
look into that.
Definitely look into that.
Yeah.
Definitely look into that.
All right, back to the youth at risk part, though. I would, of the 2,500 kids, what percentage of them do you think might be in that pool of young people
At risk.
at risk?
You know,
Yeah.
that would be a very difficult guesstimate,
yeah.
but because we have cities from all over. For example, just in the Los Angeles area, we have the LA Southeast Panthers, and they practice over at is that Adams Park, and then we have the LA Southeast Falcons, and I believe they practice over near 113th and Main. And so in that general area, you may have a greater concentration of people or young men and women who don't have fathers
Right.
that are home, right, or mothers. And then you've got Buena Park, you've got Gardena, you've got Hawaiian Gardens, Lawndale, Downey, Montebello, Lakewood, Norwalk, Santa Fe Springs. So it's difficult to quantify. But I would say in the grand scheme of our entire program, maybe a quarter of our children, 25%, come from a home where either a father or a mother is not present.
Not in the home.
Right.
Right.
And may have some risk. Could
Yes.
have some issues with food,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
Um,
Now, speaking of food, I've got to say this again with the LA Southeast Falcons and Keith Johnson and the Cooking for Kids program. I do love going to his practices to
I'll
do spot
bet you do.
checks because they feed them.
and you probably get a nibble every now
I
and
do
then.
every time I go down there. Where's my food? Where's my food?
I bet you do. You need to take me one day.
No
It's a
problem.
blessing in feeding the hungry, and I'm hungry right now. Let's talk about the ages
Okay.
that your organization covers, because we haven't discussed that yet.
So when it comes to we're 5 to
14.
yeah,
is it?
it's
Wow,
really
as
5
young
to
as
13,
5,
but we
huh?
do 5 to
That's
14.
great.
5 is flag.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
But we do 6 and up can do tackle.
Yeah.
By our rule, you must play at the lowest level possible. So we have to play
start.
down in our program.
Right.
But we do go as high as 14, provided there's no football offered in your high school.
Okay.
So if you've got football and you didn't make it, you still can't come play with us.
Okay.
You've got to go to a school other than a continuation or homeschool that
Homeschool.
doesn't offer football.
All right, and we're talking football. Let's get to the cheer part. How
Same
about?
numbers.
Oh, really?
If you're a cheerleader and they offer cheer in your high school, you cannot cheer here.
More specifically, in terms of stats, football to cheer. What's that look like?
Our numbers, they used to be neck and neck. This year, we're bringing our cheer numbers back up.
Mm-hmm.
The
so our numbers went
2,500
down.
includes cheer too. Right?
Yes,
Not
it,
just
it,
football.
it includes
Right.
cheer.
Okay.
So we're working at bringing our cheer numbers up because I think cheer is very important. And here's something that people don't really think about when it comes to cheer.
Yeah, cheer is very
The football player, they go out every week and have a contest. Some win, some lose. They practice and they play. They practice and they play. Cheerleaders practice the whole year for 1 2-minute shot.
But they never lose.
Oh,
And
they
never win.
lose.
They
Oh,
take
yeah.
they take the win or the loss personally, is what you mean.
Oh,
Yeah.
No,
do
you
they?
mean-
Because they only
you
get
meant
one
that- You
shot.
meant that nationals. That,
Yeah, you either hit it
Yeah.
as championship or you don't.
I'm only thinking of them cheering on the field, but you also do you mean by that they actually go to cheer competitions?
Oh,
mean Orlando?
absolutely.
You talking
Wait
about
a minute
Orlando?
now. So
We
talking
don't.
about-
Yeah,
talking
we have
about down in
Orlando. We
Orlando.
have
PCC
Jams.
football and cheer. I'm just assuming it's all about football, and just to keep the little girls happy,
Cheerleaders.
here's a little
No,
cheerleading
no.
on the
Cheerleaders.
sideline.
Cheerleaders.
No,
Cheering is very serious.
Cheer get
So
to lead the
cheer-
state.
Cheerleading
actually
is
go to
still
cheer
going on right
competitions?
now. There's still a competition right
Oh,
now.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah,
Are you
Right.
serious?
UCA, oh man, it's big in
Man.
Orlando.
Oh,
yeah.
the only pictures I got were of the guys.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have
I
all the
wish
all the
I had
cheer.
some cheer
I do. I'll
pictures.
send them to you in
Well,
a
it's
minute.
too
guys
late
might
now,
want to
don't
go
worry.
into cheer. Cheer get to lead the state.
Cheer, yeah, they go. We
They-
just
they
came back
travel.
from Las Vegas,
They
and a couple of
travel.
our girls, a couple of our teams won nationals. So cheerleading is very
Oh, well,
expensive
wait
and it's
for
very
it. Wait
serious.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they travel.
I
Yeah, they do
swear,
travel.
because of the football component and the images that I saw, some of the message we got from you when you were here last on Sports Lounge Live, it was really all centrally focused on football and cheer as an afterthought, just
No
so
way.
Big Brother could bring his little sister.
So let me make
and get
this
them
very
both out the
clear.
house.
Dr. Rachel Johnson is our chief
She's a-
deputy
she's-
all right.
cheer commissioner.
She's a cheer commissioner.
I didn't say that. He said
Johnson.
that.
All right. Sorry, Dr. Johnson. I stand corrected, and I'm delighted
Maybe she'll
to
come with
hear
you next
that.
time.
Yes. Yeah. I'll
Oh,
bring
I
her
wish
We
next
could
we'd
have her here this
known
time,
that.
yeah.
We certainly would have brought
Next
her
time I'll
in,
bring
yeah.
a couple of people with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to belabor the issue. We've only got a few minutes left. If you could, if there was something you could offer to families, young people out there in the community who might be in earshot of our message, with regards to youth at risk, let's say you just happened to cross the path of a young kid who was having some trouble, or maybe the parent brought them to you. What would be your advice if you'd be willing to offer that?
Our advice is to get young men and women involved in some kind of organized sport that requires discipline and teamwork. Because there's a great phenomenon. When I have a kid who's not acting right, I make him stand out to the side, and I make every other kid in the team do push-ups. They're going to talk to him when we're done. Right?
like
There's a
that.
great deal of
Sounds like a scene from Full Metal Jacket to me. I don't know. There.
no.
Little
You
worried.
give the team 20 push-ups and let the guy who kept talking stand free.
Mm.
It's not going to happen again. They're
I
not
hear
going to
that.
hurt him,
Right.
but they're going to shun him and
Right.
talk to him.
It makes sense.
It's a good discipline
Sure.
tool. And I want every kid who wants to play football or who wants to cheer to seek us out. One of the things that makes our conference a niche market is that we're weighted and we're bounded by city zip codes. Other programs, you can be as big as you want, heavy as you want. You can live wherever. We're all about a community. So you must play within the zip code that you live in, provided there's a city that's in your zip code. And then you must meet some weight requirements.
Yeah, I like that weigh-in thing. That's something that's new to me. Have you always done it? Or something
Always
that-
done weigh-ins.
Always done the
Always
weight.
done
Yeah, because
weigh-ins, yes.
I guess you don't want a 100 and
You don't want a 180-pound kid knocking over
a little 60 pounds.
Well, you know, when I was coaching football and back in the days of Pop Warner, I coached 105s.
Okay.
And no matter how tall or short, if you were 105, that was the weight limit, and that was that. This was back east. I'm sure that perhaps has changed with technology. But let me ask you another question about what Snoop Dogg is doing.
Yes.
In youth sports. How do you feel about that? Would you want to weigh in on that? We've had his son here sitting right where you are.
Yes, I encourage all programs to play at whatever they're designed to play at. And
y'all don't get to play them?
We've played them in the past. We didn't play them. We didn't play them last season. Last season we played a couple of other conferences, but they're unlimited. And so the parents who play with us or allow their kids to play enjoy the fact that we have a weighted program. So they're like, nah, we're not playing an unlimited program. And so, more power to them.
Those are out there, right? The unlimited program.
Most of them are unlimited. Most of those teams are all unlimited now.
Not as safe as your conference, I don't think.
Not the way we see it. I would not dare to tell them how to run their program. But when it comes to the Pacific Coast Conference, as far as my board is concerned, for the younger kids particularly, we will remain weighted. Our older kids are unlimited. Our midget team, they're 14-year-olds, they're unlimited.
Okay.
But our younger kids are certainly limited in weight. Yes, they're weighted. But yeah, I'm all for everyone who wants to play and put a program together as long as it's safe and people are having a good time. Hey, it's all about playing sports.
Code of conduct, parents. Remember that.
Yes.
Code of conduct.
They have to sign it.
Have to sign it,
They
too.
have to sign it.
Again, let's give out the details to the website, please.
It is www.pccfootballcheer.com.
Have you seen Black Panther yet?
Loved it. And I hadn't seen any of the
Marvel movies.
none of them. I haven't been to a movie theater in about 5 years. I've been just
It's
that
been a while
busy.
for me, too.
And my girlfriend, her son, wanted to go and see it. And I didn't know anything about it. And I said, when did he get so political? I'm thinking it was Huey Newton, the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Little did I know, right? And when I went
What
and
are
saw
they
it,
teaching that kid?
yeah, when I went to see it, I was almost brought to tears at some points. And one poignant point is something I've always lived by and taught my son, because when I make life difficult for him, and the guy said to his son when he was having that vision, he says, a father who doesn't teach a son how to live without him has failed as a parent. And I've always tried to teach my son that.
Wow.
I'm so hard on him because I need to know if something happens to me tomorrow, you can handle this.
You're going to be okay.
Which is something that I hope our coaches impart to our players, is to just be stronger men and women.
One more time, details about the website.
It is www.pccfootballcheer.com.
All right. I got to tell you, brother, this was one fun show, man.
Glad to be here.
We really needed a little bit more time because I had a lot more to talk about with regards to your programming, which you offer to these young people, man. But I just want to thank you so much.
Anytime. I'll be back whenever I'm asked.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you want to definitely stay in touch with Sports Lounge Live, because I'm sure they're going to want to have you back as the season starts to pick up again.
Yeah.
One last question.
Yeah.
Eagles or Patriots?
Hey, man, I'm a Dallas
Don't
fan.
answer that.
Thank you.
Since Tony Dorsett, baby.
Wow. I rode with the Cowboys, but I'm from Philadelphia. Had to ride with my Eagles. So shout out to the Eagles. Yeah, all right. And I'm a big Dak fan, so, Dak Prescott, I love you, man. Any black quarterback is one of my faves. So, all right, once again, I want to thank you, Theodore Cooper, PCC, Youth Football and Cheer, and the cheerleaders are not just for show. They're actually in competition right now, somewhere around the country, winning championships. Shout out to all the cheer folks out there. And I want to thank our good friend Terry Bowes for putting this all together for us tonight. He's done a great job once again.